For the first time in recorded history, not one young woman in England died of cervical cancer. And it comes down to a single injection. America quietly finished building something that makes more power than the Hoover Dam. And the coral reefs everyone keeps calling doomed? Scientists just found tens of thousands of them that can survive. This is Yash, and here are 7 good news stories from this week that you didn't hear enough about. Let's go. India has one of the biggest smoking problems on the planet, and in about 20 years, it quietly cut in half. At the start of the 2000s, almost half of all adults in India used tobacco in some form. Half. Today, that's roughly been cut in 2. Smoking specifically dropped from about 1 in 5 adults down to 1 in 10. And this is the kind of win that's easy to scroll past because it's invisible. Nobody films the heart attack that didn't happen. But smoking kills nearly 1 million people in India every single year. So cutting the rate in half isn't a statistic. It's hundreds of thousands of future funerals that just don't happen. And here's the part I love. It's not only India. The WHO says the number of smokers worldwide is down 27% since 2010. The most addictive habit on earth is slowly losing. Quietly everywhere. There's a global army that saves millions of lives every year. No uniform, and they don't get paid a single cent. New numbers just dropped from the World Health Organization, and they're kind of beautiful. In 2025, the world collected about 120 million blood donations, and over 85% of them came from people who volunteered. No payment, no reward, just rolling up a sleeve for a total stranger. Globally, donations are up nearly 19% in a decade. Think about what one bag of blood actually does. A mother hemorrhaging during childbirth, a kid with severe anemia, a crash victim on a random Tuesday night. That's who's on the other end of it. Now, the catch. It's not all equal. Wealthy countries are just 15% of the world's people but collect 36% of the blood. So a lot of places still run dangerously short. But the headline is simple. More humans than ever are quietly keeping strangers alive. For years, people argued about whether going green actually makes money. While they argued, it quietly became a $10 trillion industry. The London Stock Exchange Group just ran the numbers on the green economy. Basically, every company earning money from clean energy, clean water, efficiency, that whole world. The total value? Over $10 trillion for the first time ever. To put that in perspective, as its own sector, it would now be bigger than the entire healthcare industry. The third biggest on the planet, only behind tech and heavy industry. And green revenue grew more than 5% last year. Its fastest in years. Here's the kicker. This all happened during energy shocks, market chaos, and politicians actively trying to shut it down. Turns out, when clean tech means cheaper bills and energy you actually control, the money just follows. That green premium everyone complained about, it's just turning into green profit now. Imagine being told you're going to get a lifelong disease and then being handed a way to push it back 3 whole years. For about a century, type 1 diabetes has worked one brutal way. Your immune system attacks your own body, and then it's insulin, injections, and monitoring for life. Treatment only ever started after the damage was done. Not anymore. England just became the first country in Europe to approve a drug called teplizumab through its health system. It's a one-time, 2-week course, and in trials, it delayed the onset of type 1 diabetes by an average of nearly 3 years. 3 years for a kid, that's extra time to just be a kid before the daily grind of managing it begins. It's the first treatment that actually targets the root cause, not just the symptoms. It's not a cure, and it's not for everyone yet. But for the first time in 100 years, we're not just managing this disease, we're delaying it. For the first time in recorded history, not one young woman in England died of cervical cancer. 0. And it comes down to 1 injection given to teenagers. A new study in The Lancet tracked women aged 20 to 24 in England from 2020 to 2024. The number who died of cervical cancer? 0. None. For the first time that's ever happened over a 5-year stretch. Rewind to the early 2000s and around 25 women that age were dying every 5 years. The reason is the HPV vaccine rolled out to schoolgirls back in 2008. That generation is now in their 20s and almost nobody in it is dying of this cancer. Researchers think the jab has already prevented around 200 deaths. A single vaccine, basically erasing a cancer type. That's wild. The one worry? Vaccination rates have been slipping below the level needed to wipe it out for good. But the proof is right here. We've got a cancer that we can almost switch off, and we just have to keep using the switch. America just finished building something that makes more power than the Hoover Dam, and almost nobody noticed. It's called SunZia, an $11 billion wind farm in New Mexico. Over 900 turbines wired to the rest of the country through a 550-mile power line. It just went fully live. It's the biggest clean energy project the US has ever built, 3 times bigger than the next 2 wind farms combined. Enough to power 1 million homes, with most of it flowing to California. Now here's the jaw dropper. The Hoover Dam was built in about 5 years. SunZia took roughly 18. Most of that stuck in permits and lawsuits. And it was built almost entirely with private money, even while the federal government was actively slowing clean energy down. So the real takeaway isn't just big wind farm. It's proof that America can still build huge, ambitious things if it can figure out how to do it in less than 18 years. For years, we've been told coral reefs are basically doomed. Scientists just dropped a map that quietly says, not these ones. Researchers analyzed 45,000 coral surveys plus decades of ocean data, and they found around 64,000 square miles of reef that can actually survive and bounce back from climate change. That's 3 times more than anyone previously estimated, spread across 71 countries, including spots nobody has even flagged before. And here's why it matters. Coral reefs are a tiny sliver of the ocean, but they support a quarter of all marine life and feed over 500 million people. As one of the scientists put it, the reefs usually get treated as beyond saving. This research shows we actually know where the survivors are. The catch? Only about 1/3 of these tough reefs are currently protected. And with another big ocean heat wave on the way, the window to protect them is right now. For once, the coral story isn't "we lost," it's "here's the map. Go." And those were the 7 reasons the world got a little better this week. If even one of those gave you a small hit of hope, hit subscribe. We do this every single week. And as promised, for sticking around to the very end, here's a cute picture for you. See you next week.